The RAV4 is at it again. We have a new trim and a new color. And with this hybrid getting 40 miles per gallon blend, there's a lot to share. Let's check it out. Hey guys, Brian over here again for another video. As always, thank you so much to my subscribers and my supporters. And if you're new to the channel, thank you so much for checking me out. Today we're going to break down the 2022 Toyota RAV4 Hybrid SE. And we're going to start with the outside of the car, work our way inside, and I'm going to make a separate video for you that'll be available as a tutorial for all of the interior features. Let's check it out. Cavalry blue, cavalry blue, cavalry blue. A beautiful color that was once only available on the trucks. In fact, it started on the TRD Pro. It grew in popularity, and nothing looks as good as a cavalry blue with some mud slung up on the sides of it and dried up from your adventures. And now this color is dipped all over the RAV4 with some nice painted gloss black that really brings out those shiny black wheels. And we're still the same body line wise for the generation that we're in. No major changes here. But if we go to the front, there's something different. An entirely new design for the headlights where the projector was brought down a little bit lower. And we have this nice robotic look with a LED strip on the top. If you get a lower trim, this is just going to kind of be like a brushed chrome finish and you get the LED here. But we're fully lit up on the SE with some great black plastic that really gives it that tough look. Very sporty, very visible from a distance. On the front here, we have a very large entryway for lots of air and a shutter system down here with a little plastic flap that'll open and close to help the car basically manage the cooling and the temperature of the hybrid system. Lots of sharp lines on the exterior. No fog light at the SE level. Toyota's now making it go to the XLA Premium and up to get the fog lights. But you get a nice gloss, nice black gloss plastic here. Very strong cheek design. If you're new to the RAV4, I'm going to try to talk about it as if you're new. If you're familiar with the RAV4, maybe I'll point something out that you didn't notice. Also on the front, you have a silver lip on the bottom. This is going to break up that blue and black combination. And you're going to see as we get to the back, it's going to have that uniformity with the that metal looking plate. Because that's what it looks like. It kind of looks like an off-roading plate here. The hood has a strong presence. Not too much of a bulge, but onto the side, there's a little bit of muscle here. There's my LED parking light. As we work our way to the side, you can't help but notice these gloss black finished wheels. So we're working with an 18-inch wheel here, and this is a gloss finish. So with a nice polish with a microfiber towel, you can't beat that. And with the midnight black metallic finished wheel well liner, during certain lighting, it's actually going to make those wheel wells look a little bit bigger. And the side here, I call that the belly of the car. That painted black is going to give it more of a slimmer look during certain lighting, which is going to give it a very sporty look. And of course, they're very generous on the painted black because we have it up front as well. There's also plenty of visibility because there's a separate window here. So Toyota has the mirror on the door, and there's a whole separate window, so you don't have to move around a lot to see where you're driving. And a very nicely matching painted mirror with a turn signal. Very easy to fold. It is a color matching roof. With the XSE, you would get the blacked out roof, but with this, you get the color matching roof. Let me know down below what you think about the color matching roof versus the black roof. Onto the side of the car, we have those sharp lines that the RAV4 is now known for. It gives it a very fast look. It has that presence in the front and the rear. So, you know, you have almost like a, the animal that this represents to me is a shark. You have that stubby nose. It's not that pointed nose, that little rodent look that it had on the last generation. It's a stubby shark nose in the front. And there's a lot of drama to the rear because we have these beautiful taillights. The taillights have a mascara effect to them with a painted black plastic. And at nighttime, the taillight's going to be lit up with a super bright LED bar right here. And that's going to look very sharp. And like I mentioned, we have that plate. So this is kind of like a metal look-alike. It's just a painted plastic. We have that dark silver finish here with dual exhaust. Here's our lighting in indirect sunlight, or actually behind the sunlight, to show you how the blue transforms. And as we work our way around the car, because there actually is direct sunlight right now, here's how the blue pops. This is not a metallic finish. Let me get my shadow out of the way. It's not a metallic finish. In fact, if we get close, it's a pastel color. Some people call it like a putty paint. Here's an up close of the Cavalry blue. All RAV4 starting in 2019 are on a TNGA frame, which stands for Toyota New Global Architecture. What that means to you is they're safer to crash, they have a better driving feel, there's a better fit and finish. But you get more than that on the Hybrid SE. You're actually getting a sport-tuned suspension for a more confident feel during the turns. So you have your blue boot outside here for the suspension. Let's have a look. And onto the rear. And down below. Towing capacity is 1,750 pounds. You're working with a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder engine with a battery in the back underneath the back seats. Your gas mileage is going to be 40, a blend of 40, 38 on the highway and 41 in the city. Let's pop the hood and talk about more of that power plant in the RAV4. Nothing new here if you've been working with Toyota for a while or if you owned a lot of Toyotas. Lots of space to work on things, lots of space for heat management. The air intake is easy to get to replace your filter. It's easy to check your fluids like your brake fluid. This is part of your hybrid system. The fuel rail is right up top. Here's my dipstick to change, and well, not to change, to check my oil. I can check my coolant right here. It's a simple design. You're not getting the geared transmission like you get on the gas model. You're getting a CVT-E, or some people call it an eCVT, which has been a great success with Toyota. It's very reliable, and it doesn't quite feel the same as a geared transmission, but you'll see when we drive it. I'll talk a little bit more about the way that feels. Let's go inside and talk about the space. And just because I know some of you are going to ask, this has all 3 packages available. It has the SE Weather package, the Audio Plus with the upgraded size and screen, and the SE Convenience package. Here's some more information here, and our total MSRP. And since it has all those packages, we have a height adjustable lift gate right back here with 5 different height levels. If I push the button on the key fob or the dashboard or just right of center, I can operate that height adjustable lift gate, opening up the cargo space, to which I have just about 38 cubic feet of cargo space with the seats up and 69 with the seats folded down. And some people might wonder, so I'll show you right away. Yes, you do have your full-size spare. It is a temporary, so this will get you to your nearest repair shop, but it has to be a full size because it's all-wheel drive, with a little bit of extra space to put some emergency gear, which is nice. This is actually a nice tough material. It's not a flimsy cardboard. And with the all-weather mats, a lot of times they also stock it with this all-weather liner in the back here. There's an extra cubby right here to put some additional things. This is your driver's portfolio where you can put your manuals and some business cards. A 12-volt plug for accessories. And now Toyota's updated from the candle light to the LED light in white. So we've gone from the medieval times to the office. The entryway to this hatchback here is much lower than the Highlander. So it's just above my knee level, which means with my arm hanging down, I can kind of pull things in and out without having to lift them up and put them in like in the Highlander, which is very nice. And when equipped with the tonneau cover here, It clips very easily into the top here, and that's going to keep the prying eyes off of your things, or keep the sun off if there's something that you don't want to be exposed to direct sunlight. And conveniently the light is below, which makes sense to light up the entryway there. If you need to remove this tonneau cover, it's very easy to do with one hand. You have a spring-loaded head on each side, so whatever side you like to do, you grab on these little nubbies here for grip and you pull it inward, and it comes right on down. And the seats can be folded down with a lever right on the top here or right on the top there, from the back if you want to reach, or from the side. It is a 60-40 split, so you can choose to put the 60 down and the 40 up, or the reverse. But by sitting down in the hatchback, it's pretty simple to just lift that up and throw it down. If it's not clipped in all the way, you'll get this little thermometer, I call it, to let you know, hey, you got to click me in. And then now you know it's fully clicked in to keep your rear passenger safe. But let's see what it looks like with everything folded down. Move this out of the way. And now you unlocked that 69 cubic feet of space in your RAV4 Hybrid to take you on any adventure you need to go. Let's put this back together and check out the back seats. And another fun fact about all the new RAV4s, when those seats are actually up, you can take your lever here that you used to pull them down, and you can recline this back a little more for a few inches of extra lean back space. But here's what it looks like getting into a 2022 RAV4 SE Hybrid. Let me get in and I'll talk about how I feel. So first of all, you'll notice there's a one-piece all-weather mat back here, which is going to protect all of that carpet down below. And you have a total of 5 USB plugs, 2 of them being back here. And these are going to be USB-C, which is nice. It's hard to close these with gloves on, but I can make it happen. And those little doors will help keep the moisture and the dirt out. No separate temperature back here, but I have separate ventilation that I can aim at each different person. And you're only getting storage under the passenger, well, behind the passenger seat. The door card has mostly hard plastic and black, with enough space to hold a bottle and maybe a pair of gloves. The plastic gets harder as you go up, but I have a soft material here that's just enough to keep my arm comfortable. It gets hard once I go up here, but what I do like is the nice brushed chrome finish that breaks up all of that black. And you'll see the design and the shape of those lines actually go very nicely with the shape of those stitches in the seats. Once I close the doors and put my arm where it belongs, everything kind of goes and feels exactly as it should. I don't feel like my arm is a little too high. I don't feel like it's hanging too low. It fits nicely. I do have to reach forward slightly for this, but on the back end of this, there are some ribs to help with my grip. I'm also greeted with lots of visibility, big square windows with glass that goes all the way back behind my shoulder, and even more in case I really want to look at what's behind me. So one of my favorite things about the RAV4 that a lot of people enjoy as well is all of that visibility that you're getting to look at the world around you and completely make claustrophobia obsolete. There's also a fold down armrest here with an easy to use little loop, and that stops so that it hovers. It doesn't sink down like it did on some other models. And that way, once I'm sitting down, the arm is in a slightly higher position than on the door, but barely noticeable and very comfortable. And with the seat reclined, here's eye level. If the seat was up, my eye level would be more here. Leaning over to the right, I can see right out the window. You can even see the little corners for, you know, really good visibility even from the rear. And if I lean to my left, I can see all through here. So I don't feel trapped back here. This is exactly where my eyes are. I can see all around me, which is going to help me enjoy being a back passenger as well on all the adventures that you take your RAV4 on. Let's go into the front passenger seat and see what's going on up there. And here's what it looks like being the co-pilot of a 2022 RAV4 SE Hybrid. Starting with the door card, same thing as in the back. We have harder plastic up through the door, and then it gets soft as you move your way up, and then back to hard as we get to the top. But it is split up nicely with that same design. And if you look close, it's a sparkly plastic that they have here. It's like a sparkly silver. The camera's not doing it any justice, even though the sun is hitting it. It really breaks up the black very nicely. Easy to use and bypassable door locks, which is nice. Of course, there are child locks on the back door, accessible right over here. But a cool thing that we're seeing a lot at Toyota is not only are they doing the black badges, which this one is going to have, but a lot of them are coming from the factory, but the writing to the model is done in black too, which is very sporty. It's not a locking floor mat over here, but you don't have to worry about that because with the shape of this floor mat, it's not really going to go anywhere. And if you get real close on Toyota's all-weather mats, you have these individual cells which are going to do a great job of trapping the dirt, the gravel, and all the slush from being outdoors or just managing the winters wherever you live. The seat has that same design as the rear, but if you get close, you see a very nice blue stitching here. Double stitching up top, single as you go down. And as we work to the bottom bolster, we're back to a double stitching of blue threads, which so happens to work very nicely with the blue exterior. Once I close the door, I see this brushed chrome finish start very nicely here and go all the way and guide my attention right to the screen, which if you're new to these screens, might be a stark, thing that's sticking out. But once we go into the most important seat, we'll talk all about that screen and why this is actually a really nice thing. Interesting thing that I don't think anybody's pointed out that just keeps jumping out to me. The shape of this here looks exactly like the shape of the headlight to the last generation RAV4. Pretty cool. We have a shelf here with a hexagonal design. There's no sticky gripper here. It's not exactly slippery plastic, but it's definitely not rubber. So there's no rubber mat. I'm assuming you can get a third-party mat if you really don't want anything sliding around. We still have the blue stitching working its way through the interior all the way down to the driver's side, which will bring us to the blue push start button seen on all the hybrids. And as a co-pilot, let me put the seat back just a notch. Here's eye level. Lots of visibility. Big mirrors, same size as the Tacoma, so it's very easy to see who's behind you and on the sides of you, and very easy to park. There's our camera to the safety sense. And the driver's seat. Now let's go to the driver's seat and have some fun. The moment we've been waiting for, what it looks like to get in your first hybrid RAV4. We have a very utilitarian design here. Lots of square buttons and round knobs. Exactly where you would expect them to be. Have my heated seats right here below the climate control. Two big knobs which are very easy to use with the gloves, whether they're work gloves or winter gloves. This is going to be all digital. And then I have the infotainment here. And also some additional features because it's loaded, which we will go over in the tutorial video. But let me close the door. Now here's the thing about the hybrids. You're not going to necessarily hear the engine if it starts up, but what you look for is the little ready symbol in green right here in the tachometer. So by pressing the brake and the push start button, everything will light up and have a nice RAV4 introduction with the ready symbol. Another great thing about the RAV4s is the leather stitched steering wheel, which is heated, by the way. This is all done by hand. It's the last thing they do on a new Toyota before it actually goes to the dealership. You really can feel that human touch, and it's a nice fat steering wheel too. It's not too much to where you feel like you can't control the car, and the electronic steering makes it a cinch to steer. We have a diagram too that'll show us the energy flow. So right now the engine is powering the electric motor, which is sending energy back to the battery to boost it back up. Very easy to read climate control. I have 2 separate temperatures here. Or I can just hit sync and I can control it all from the driver's side. Then I have 2 levels of heat for the heated seat. And for when my hands are chilly, the button for that, which will be in the tutorial video, is right on the side. You have a locking gas cap on the driver's side. These cars use a blend of both electricity from the battery and gasoline from the engine. So that's what hybrid means. It's using a blend between the two. And sometimes it's only going to use your electric and sometimes it's only going to use the engine, but sometimes it uses both. And what's great is you can manipulate that system with these buttons by the shifter. So you have a sport mode, an eco mode, normal mode. We can choose to keep the engine off. Electronic parking brake is standard. Big cup holders over here with some even wider areas with a shelf for those jumbo drinks. And 2 more of those USB-Cs lit up too, so we can see where they're at, with a decently sized storage here. It's about halfway up to the elbow with a carpet. No knickknacks and extras over here, but I like the way this feels. It comes up quick, but it goes down easy. And glove box, good size, can fit lots of Toyota books. You could probably hear the engine just kicked back on. We don't have an auto-dimming rear view mirror. Interesting, but I have my sunglass case. Safety Connect for 1 year unlimited miles on all new Toyotas. Make sure you get the app and sign up for it. And black upholstery on the ceiling here, which is going to create a nice contrast between the windows and your interior, and it's really going to help the eyes draw attention to the outside to catch that nice sunset. So let's put it in drive, get on the road, talk about the way the RAV4 SE Hybrid drives. I left the energy monitor on so that you can see while we're driving together what the system is doing. Basically, the arrows are going to show you what direction the power is going. To make it more simple, the battery simply sends energy out to power the wheels, but the engine and electric motor are going to send energy back to the battery to recharge it. You don't have to plug this one in, it's not a prime. You just simply drive it the way you want to and enjoy the way it drives. Also, real quick, when the battery is charged over 75%, I have the option to do EV mode, which stands for electric vehicle mode. So when I push that, it's going to keep the engine off. And I'll actually prefer to turn it into eco mode, and I can drive at lower speeds, keeping the engine off no matter what. Once the battery level goes to a certain level, it's going to kick the engine on for you. So it's not like an electric car where you have to worry about if you run out of electricity. Once that battery level goes down enough, it's actually going to kick on the engine to help itself. And we're off. Very easy steering, by the way. Very easy to steer this car. So I'm in normal mode right now. As you can see, the visibility is very good on this car. The wind noise, I would say, I would give it a 75%. It's not like a fully loaded Avalon or a Platinum Highlander, but it's not that bad. When we put it into sport mode, it's going to help the engine rev out a little bit more and give us more torque. You're also getting more torque with those electric motors. The turning radius is very strong on this, so check this out. Very good turning radius. Now if I go into eco mode, the little MID is going to light up green, and that's going to depower me. It's going to be a little bit more of a reserve drive, and it's going to squeeze out a few more miles per gallon. I'm not going to do a brake test because it's a new vehicle, but the braking on the hybrids is called regenerative braking, and it's a stronger braking system because they collect energy from the brakes and they send it. Watch when I brake. it sends energy right back to the battery through the brakes. There's also a style of driving that some of the hybrid drivers do called pulse and glide, which is where you accelerate and then you let off of the gas, and it's gonna spend more time with that engine off. So it's totally normal for the engine to come off when you come to a stop, or simply when you let off the gas. They get a lot of compliments. You know, I can only say so much because, one, I work for the company, and two, it's an individual thing. You know, some people get in these cars and they feel like they're, you know, not quite what they were looking for. Maybe they're a little small, or they needed a little bit more of something. But there are a lot of people that love the way the RAV4 drives. So I highly recommend that you get in one and you test drive it. So let's get this back to the store and talk about our concluding thoughts. And we're back. So there it is. We talked about the outside of the RAV4 SE Hybrid. We also popped the hood and talked about the engine and powertrain. We went inside the car and I talked about the space. For somebody just under 6 feet, there's plenty of room. It has decent tow capacity at 1750, and gas mileage at 40 miles per gallon. I think it's a great value. The Sport Tune suspension is actually going to help you be more inspired to find the driver within. And if you can get your hands on this rare color, I suggest you get to your local Toyota store and you grab it soon. But I just wanted to say thanks again for checking this video out. If you're new to Toyotas and it helped you, please let me know down below. And if you already got a Toyota and this video kind of helped you appreciate yours more, well, I'm glad that it did. But don't forget, I'm making a tutorial video going over all the buttons on the inside, and that's going to be a fast button tutorial. And if you're in the market or you just picked up the car, that's the video you want to see. But thanks again. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.